play from our guards, and that kind of hurt us. The turnovers, 19 of them. So we had two games against top 10 teams, and turned it over 35 times in those two games. We shot 12 for 19 today, missed two front ends, so 1 and 1. That's 12 for 21. We were 8 for 19, I think, against Kansas, and missed two front ends and a 1 and 1. So, we're missing free throws, and but that is a good basketball team. They deserve all the credit. They ran their stuff well. I thought it was a hell of a war for a half, and then very physical. I think we play teams that are more Big Ten. They cut as hard as Purdue does. I thought UConn was as physical as most Big Ten games. So this is going to be great for us in the long run. Just disappointing that we didn't really compete the second half. I thought a guy on my right grew a lot as a freshman. Really played hard as hell, and I thought Gabe's been playing really well. And because our play up at the top wasn't as good, he didn't get as many good shots. So we'll learn a lot from it, but don't kid yourself. I came into this tournament thinking, God, if we could be the third best team, just because of seeing what I saw. I hadn't seen Syracuse, but I had seen UConn. I had seen Butler, but and maybe we still are, but Butler's definitely head and shoulders, I think, better than most of the teams in the tournament. So that's who should win the game, and they did win the game. Baylor, Butler, Baylor. I don't know.
It's been a long day already.
Yeah.
Gabe, the second half, where do you think it began to go wrong for you guys when they threw some different looks at you, some full court and some things? Where did it not go right for you guys and what you were doing?
I just felt like overall we didn't come out to play in the second half. I mean, as a team, we got to do better than that. As coach, he harps on coming out, being aggressive, bringing back Michigan State basketball. And second half, we didn't do that.
Questions inside? We'll do Zoom.
Oh, I'm sorry, can I still?
Go ahead, Les.
Tom, Scott was saying in here before that part of the appeal of this tournament is that you're challenged as coaches 3 days in a row. What challenge was it for you, and what did you learn here?
Well, it was a challenge. Marcus has come a long way, but you could tell he was out of gas, and yet they had a tougher turnaround than we did. So, again, it should teach us something that, you're going to play in the NCAA tournament someday. You just got to be ready for these things. And but the turnovers and your question to Gabe, we came out and turned it over, and everybody knows I'm a big football fan, but turnovers for touchdowns. Thank God in their sport it costs 6, but in ours it was a couple of 2s. It was a 3-point play, and it was a long 3 that we didn't even get a chance to defend, and that happened so quick that there's dead ball turnovers and then there's live ball turnovers. And so I'd agree with Scott. You really do get to play, and I have zero complaints about the 3 in 3 days, because I think it teaches you the thing that I don't think we have right now. Great mental toughness. Everybody worries about the physical toughness. Everybody always says how important physical toughness is. I'd rather be mentally tough and physically weak than mentally weak and physically tough. And today was a day where we did not show it mentally. So that's what I'll go back, and we're going to harp on that, and we're going to talk about it. And maybe we'll practice at 5 in the morning to figure out, if the NCAA doesn't. We might get sued. I might get sued for that now, but for the most part, we're going to do some different things, because it is easy to get better physically. You can run our old war drill, you can lift weights, you can do this. Mentally, it's a little harder. And I thought, give Scott a lot of credit. He had some fifth-year seniors. They did a nice job. I mean, I was really impressed, as I was with UConn, but these guys seemed to do it with a purpose. Nobody cared who scored. They all played pretty hard defensively. It was a nice team to watch. Unfortunately, I had to watch them from a negative side.
Tom, they're the champions. Are you surprised how he's reloaded? I mean, he lost
Yeah, I
lost
am.
a couple of pros, and now
I am. And yet those guards, it's a good point. Calipari always talks about it. Because he's had a couple of those guards that hung in there with him. You know, they practiced against those guys all the time, and I thought that was good. And their bigs, I thought all played pretty well. I mean, all of them played their roles. The kid that I can't say his name, number 23, just did what he had to do. We recruited Slocum some, and he just kind of played within himself. I didn't think any of those bigs forced anything. And Kendall Brown, he goes 6 for 7. I don't know if he made a real shot. He got layups and breakaways. And I mean that complimentary, not insultingly, because he did his role. And so I thought if maybe there's one thing that he's really done a great job of, it's explaining their roles and guys play to their roles.
We have a couple on Zoom that we'll go to. Go to Chris Alari on Zoom.
Tom, that the last part of the first half and the start of the second half, it really seemed like coming out of the break, they kind of got you guys on the board. How much do you think was that them getting a little bit more aggressive on the boards, and how much of it do you feel like it was you guys kind of hitting a little bit of a wall there?
Well, AJ, struggled at the point, so now they turnovers and that were a problem. We didn't get guys some open shots, and then Marcus and really Malik struggled a little bit, and Malik's been playing really well for us. And I don't know why Marcus, I think, was some fatigue, both mentally and physically, and that's why you're 7 foot and 220 pounds. You're going to be fatigued that way. So that'll be a good lesson for him. But I think some of it was they just keep bringing waves in. They only got maybe 8 players that are playing, but it's like 2 at each position, just about, except for those guards. Those bigs just keep rotating in there, and they all play their roles very, very well. So, it's sad when you sit up here and got beat, and God, I'll probably help their recruiting before I'm done, because I felt so good about how they played. I kind of enjoyed watching them play.
Go next to Matt Charbonneau on Zoom.
Tom, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the Max in these 3 games. Kind of had some struggles at times. Maybe how does he grow from this as a freshman, obviously going through the 3-day thing? And the flip side to that is how important was it for Jaden today to play the way he did and kind of take a big step?
Yeah, there's always positives and negatives, and Gabe's been our most consistent player here, and played pretty well again here. We asked him, to do a much better job rebounding the ball. He got some early, but he got 5 for the game. He's gotten 3 and 2 offensive rebounds. He didn't have hardly any coming in, so he's been probably our most consistent. In Max, believe it or not, I told them in the locker room, I thought Max and Jaden played the best defensively, and they were our 2 freshmen. And nobody ever thought Max would be a defensive player, and he is. The problem offensively, he's struggling. He had some open shots, he just missed them, but they're putting a lot of attention on him too. I know UConn really, they guarded him with Martin, and was a hell of a defender. So a little bit of both, but I don't think he's as frustrated as I thought he'd be. So he's handling it very well, and Jaden handled it very well. The other night he didn't play as much, and we got on him about some things, and water off a duck's back. He came back today and I thought he played with as much energy as anybody I've had in a while, and yet still pretty much under control. So defensively, running the lanes, he was phenomenal. That's going to really help us as we try to figure out who's going to be in our actual playing group, because there's going to be a few changes.
We have one more we can get to on Zoom from Jared Ramsey from the State News.
Going off what you just said, Jaden, what did it feel like to have that kind of career performance today? And what's your mindset attacking the glass? Because you were living above the rim today.
It felt pretty good, but it would have been better if we would have won. And attacking the glass, really, they coach and all of our coaches really just stress attacking the glass because that can give us extra opportunities for points. So in my mind, every time I see a shot go up, I just know to crash the glass and good things can happen.
You know, in saying that, we asked him to be our modern day version of a Charlie Bell, who that's how he got his career going. And Jaden's got some things he does even better, but I did think that was a big key. In fact, I thought rebounding in general, even though we had like a 6-7 rebound advantage at one point, I thought they really took it to us again in the second half, but we still lose that battle by 1 against a team that I think is pretty physical, pretty big. So we are making some progress. We're going to leave here feeling really good about a lot of things, but I haven't felt good about our turnovers since the season started. So we're going to have to look at making some adjustments there, and we will.
One more in here, Jim.
Yeah, Jaden, just to follow up on that, how Coach is talking about energy, the importance of playing with energy. How much did you sort of take that to heart, maybe, you know, in a big picture sense?
I take a lot of pride in playing with energy because sometimes I can't control if my shots are falling, but I feel like I can always control how much energy I bring. And usually when you bring a lot of energy, good things happen.
Well, Lee, you made it through the tournament. As coach, if we could have hung in there a little longer, there were some great games. I'm sure the rest of them will be fun. And I guess, Hoops, you and I can go out and sunbathe now, right?
It's the least we could do.
All right.